Well, you didn't think I was going to be outside, did you? No way. Hey, happy Friday, my friends. Welcome aboard another edition here of Here and There. This is episode 9. What? Yeah, you know, outside would have been a blessing, and it would be great if it was perhaps the beginning of November. Not May. Are you kidding me? Just the wind's too strong. Still a few showers with the equipment, so we are in the studio today, but so nice to have your company today. Welcome aboard, my friends. We have lots of people already starting to join us. Jeanette is joining us. Aisha is joining us. Also, Ward is joining us, saying, hello, nice to see you. It's great to see you. Happy Friday to Kathy, Rose, Sarah, Bonita. So nice to have your company, my friends. We have a great show for you. Oh, my goodness. It is going to be a 5-star lineup. We're going to find out what day it is today. It is a very special day. We'll also have another Anwar night query. We'll get your take on, I think it's kind of a fun question. And speaking of fun, we have a brand new game we're going to debut here on the Here and There show. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But first of all, how are you? How are you doing? This is, you know, just when you think you're catching up, you know, you get pulled back a little bit of what's going on. So we just got to keep doing one day at a time, one foot in front of the other, and we should be okay. The vaccination rollout, they're saying, is now going to be opened up. A lot more vaccines are coming in, and I know there's still many problems, but we'll get through this. So I mention that because there are a lot of people that are still isolated alone. So if you have friends, family, maybe some of them are in a retirement community, something like that, let them know about the show. Maybe you can talk to the people who run it if they can access the internet, because this is a really nice way of engagement, of connecting. Even if they can't type something in, you know, it beats watching the news cycle for 24 hours a day on CP24. Let's just have some fun. Let's strip away from all the seriousness and just let's connect. And of course, we'll get into the details of the weather and all that sort of thing. Let's see. So Tammy's saying happy Friday. And Kathy says she's opening the pool this week. Oh, yeah, well, good luck with that. I scheduled mine for the 16th, fingers crossed. It looks like not until after Mother's Day will we start to get a bit of a pattern change. So, yeah, Donna's saying like a roller coaster up and down. And, you know, truth be told, springtime is like that, where you know, it's a transitional period, so it's up and it's down. Tammy's saying happy Friday. And I just wanted to mention to you, by the way, not only is this the last day of the month, the last Friday of April, but also that means we have 21 days until Victoria Day weekend. Now, that is traditionally the big woohoo, you know, unofficial start of summer. I don't know what's going to happen with that. The lockdown technically ends May the 19th. Are they going to push it to continue in terms of keeping people away from cottage country? Maybe even some parts north, they're going to maybe put some border crossing sort of thing to try to contain things. I'm not sure where it's going to go. If you have your own cottage and you're able to go, good for you. 19 days, 21 days until Victoria Day. The lockdown is supposed to end on May the 19th. But, you know, if you have a cottage, always a beautiful encounter with nature. And that's the beauty, right? To really separate yourselves. And I bring this up because there was an interesting study that came out. And they have determined that the age where we tend to gravitate and connect with nature, enjoy the outdoors, is 27. That was kind of random. This is based out of the UK. Then I was thinking, you know, 27 is really one of the best age in terms of years, because, you know, you still get fart room. You know, like you have time to fart around. You still get the respect as an adult, but there's no real demands from you yet. It's after 27, 28, you start to see that exit of life that says, you know, adulthood, next exit, right? When you should be knowing where you are in your career. Maybe you're going to start a family or settle down or that sort of thing. But 27, you got the fart room. The world is your oyster. You're not just a 21-year-old. You get the respect, but you you can still have some room to goof around. And interestingly enough, the other side of connecting with nature, besides at the age of 27, the benefits of nature, and this is scientific, is about 120 minutes a week. That's what they estimate, where you get the real benefits. And it doesn't have to be in one chunk. It could be 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you know, but if you can aim for doing 120 minutes each week, the physical, mental benefits of connecting with nature are all there. So something to keep in mind. But 27, you know, if you can't go to the cottage and go to nature, well, maybe you can bring nature to you. I wanted to highlight some of these new bizarre trends. This is coming out of the U.S. It's called trophy trees. Do you see this? So basically, if you're looking for a tree, and it can be any tree, the job, if you have the money, is to go look around and say, I want that tree. It can be on somebody else's property. It could be maybe on a city-owned property. The company that you hire, they will try to negotiate a deal. Show me the money. And they'll try to get you a tree. Now, of course, as a private owner, you could say, get off my lawn. I'm keeping the tree, and the city can certainly do that. But in many instances, I mean, some people pay $250,000 for a tree. Wow. So I want to show you a picture here, because to me, it almost borders bizarre on what efforts they're willing to do to get a tree. But they will deploy a 300-ton crane. They will get also, you know, maybe a barge. They will do a helicopter, if that's the case. But look at the size of some of these trees. Now, they say they work so hard to ensure that enough of the root has been gathered here. But you can see that picture with the helicopter or the crane there pulling that by the buildings. I mean, this is crazy. And the thing is about it is that it's now it's a different level of prestige. It's almost like artwork because it's one of a kind. You may get the same type of tree, but you know, that particular tree, there's no other tree like it on earth. So, you know, your rich friend may have the Bentley or the Rolex, but I got the 200-year-old banyan tree, doo-dah. So, you know, it's pretty crazy, but apparently it's rampant. I mean, this is the new prestige factor, and something that you want to do. You get this iconic tree on your lot. I'm thinking, A, there should be more restriction. You know, bylaw should really start to clamp down on that. But if not that, at the very least, wherever it's going to, wherever it's ending up, and you're hoping that it does survive, they sort of promise that. But then it shouldn't be able to be touched again, right? It should be, that's it. You know, if you've got like Kanye West saying, I want to put myself a hot tub over here, that tree stays now, it's done, you know. But trophy trees, so it's an interesting concept. One of the latest trends coming to the U.S. Giselle is joining us from Burlington. Hello there, nice to have you. And Anne is joining us. Can I sell my neighbor's ugly tree that hangs over our pool? Well, now, ugly, it might be a little harsh. That might be a favorite tree of theirs. But I hear what you're saying in terms of all the leaves and all that stuff that sort of ends up in your pool. But I got to be honest, I tell this to my kids when we go out for a walk or a bike ride, and I say, just look around. Imagine what the place would be like without the trees. I mean, yes, I guess it'd be called a desert, really. It'd be a barren landscape, but it just... oh my God, it brings life to any place, so that's the thing. Connie likes the doo-dah, absolutely. Don says hi to John, so I'm glad to see that you guys are also connecting amongst each other. It's amazing. Judy says, so nice to hear and see you again. Well, thank you, I appreciate that. And Pam is joining us from Orangeville. Well, good to have you. Now, let's get the AKQ started up here today. That's the Anwar Night Query, and I want to ask you, this is something I want you to think back. We're talking about ages as we stream live here. If you're just joining us for the first time, also put an asterisk news so I know that you're new to the program. The AKQ, the Anwar Night Query, what food did you hate as a kid? Think about that. The food item that you hated as a kid. Now, you may still hate it now, I'm not sure. But I was thinking about that, and there's a reason why I ask, and I was thinking about it. Grapefruit was certainly in there, although now I love grapefruit. Also, smelly cheese. You know, as a kid, I mean, I always loved cheese, but the smelly cheese, and I remember, man, my mom, she's German, the cheese that she'd bring in the house, they call it Stinkerkäse, smelly cheese. My dad and mom would get into fights. That thing would stink like feet. And I can't say I'm into that per se, But like Roquefort or different types of cheese now, I'm way more open. I mean, I could not live without cheese. But certainly cheese would be in there. And also mushrooms. Oh, hated mushrooms, but now on pizza, mushrooms pretty well. Anyway, I would love to have mushrooms. So those are some of my things. Oh, this is interesting. So Rose is saying garlic. Yeah, you know, I think I was okay with garlic because there was like, you know, garlic bread and cheese sort of thing at the, you know, a Pizza Hut or things like that, or Red Lobster. Madeline says cabbage. Judy says liver. You know, Judy, liver, I hate it when I'm young. I hate it when I'm old. I ain't doing liver. Brussels sprouts and asparagus. Kimberly says, I can do the asparagus. Brussels sprouts, you know, we put the cinnamon on it and it kind of tastes kind of neat. Cindy's joining us again. Oh, that's interesting. I'm saying there's a power out in the wind fields in the Oshawa area. Linda says turnip. You know, if you mash turnip with some butter, now butter will make anything good, but I hear where you're going. Giselle said cook spinach, and Saskia's news, so thanks for doing that. Val, you're saying brains. Now, are you taking a slag at us that we don't have brains? You're talking about eating brains, because, yeah, no, we're not doing that. Not as a kid, not as an adult, but I know some people do. Tammy, you said porridge, hot mush, still can't eat it. Oh my God, I love porridge. Always did. Always love porridge. I don't know what it is. It's a comfort food. Even as a kid, you put a little brown sugar on it, but each to their own. Cindy says blood sausage. Yeah, I hear you. I'm not into that, but I know a lot of people that love it. So Donna says overall just vegetables. You know, I liked vegetables as a kid overall. Not that I would, you know, run a marathon for it, but Joanne says liver. Mother just had to say the word and this would produce a gag. It'd produce a gag reflex for my brother and I. Now you love liver and onions. See, Mom always knows best, huh? Christine adds asparagus but loves it now. Sarah says, not very picky, but I'd say blue cheese and liver. You know, the blue cheese, the chunks, I just loved it. It was almost like a ranch dressing sort of thing. Margaret said soup. Marina said Brussels sprouts and cooked spinach. Janice says liver and onions. Oh my gosh, it was nasty and I don't like the smell of cooked cabbage. Love coleslaw, just not cooked cabbage. Isn't it interesting? You know, everybody has their own little reflection when they were a kid, right? Cooked veggies. Alian says, Aisha says liver, any other body organs. Don't even eat the skin on my chicken. Oh, nothing like roasted chicken though. Penny Lynn says mushrooms. Wally was invited to friend's house for dinner. They had cow's tongue. Oh, never stayed for dinner again. You know, again, it's a delicacy for some, but no, not for me. Limburger cheese. Miranda says mushrooms unless it's breaded and deep fried. Listen, Miranda, anything deep fried, come on, you could do shoelaces. Be like, oh, this is tasty. The deep fry is the cure to all, that and butter. Her mind says shrimp. Reminded me of potato grubs, but now you like shrimp. That's interesting. Jeanette adds tongue. Inez says lima beans, blah. Well, you know, each to their own. The reason why I bring this up, the AQQ of what food did you hate as a kid, because it is National Raisin Day. Now, I'm not suggesting you hated raisins. Maybe you loved raisins, but certainly it's a kid food. When you think of raisins, what image comes to mind? And I know, Wally, you know, because you sent me a message yesterday. But what image comes to mind when I say raisins? Is it the little red box? Do you see that now? Yes, that is right. That is SunMaid raisins. And I want to show you an image here because that little red box, there's a picture on it. And on that picture is a lady. And I don't think many of us really, you know, thought about it. But she's real. Well, she was real. She's passed on now. But yes, she is real. SunMaid raisins. We used to get them in our lunch. We used to get them sometimes as Halloween treats. You know, they'd put them in your little bag. Goes back to 1912, over a century. And the lady on that red box, her name was Lorraine Collett. It's just a fascinating story. So one of the executives of SunMaid, he was a director, he noticed her drying her hair, wearing a red bonnet. Now, this was in 1915, so 3 years just after SunMaid sort of started up. And let's face it, there were no hair dryers in 1915, and it was sort of a fashionable thing to do. You put on your bonnet, your hair dries, it sort of keeps it in position sort of thing. And he noticed her, and he had a vision. And he said, hey, hi, Lorraine, would you like to pose for us? We're doing some promotional material for our raisin boxes. She was actually working at an expo at the time, and they say, in fact, she was giving out samples of raisins. I don't know if that's verified or not. But they tried initially when she was posing with the blue bonnet, and the guy said, no, go back to the red. And as they say, the rest is history. So she became, to this day, she is the legendary icon of SunMaid raisins. Isn't that something? And she passed in 1983, but she donated the red bonnet to the Smithsonian Institute, and that's in Washington, D.C. So it's a part of who we are when we grew up. But what's interesting is that millennials don't eat raisins. They don't even know likely what SunMaid is. So the crop prices have dropped by 30%. So they're struggling a little bit. They're trying to rebrand themselves. They're getting creative yogurt-covered raisins and that sort of thing. California used to be the raisin capital of the world. It's now moved over to Turkey. But let me show you the process, the drying process in California. They have, by the way, in California, this will blow your mind, over 840,000 kilometers of grapevines in California. So I'll bring up this picture, and it shows you the green grapes that have been stripped and they're drying in the sun. And then just by 5 days later, they start to turn color. They're starting to dry with the heat, which is really quite something. But 840,000 kilometers of grapevine, which is enough to circle the earth 22 times. That's how much grapevines they have in California. And I think that, you know, ultimately, SunMaid has his work cut out for them. I love raisins. I think they're a great treat. But in terms of getting the new generation to embrace them. Now, that being said, a lot of millennials are into more of a healthier, you know, choices of food that they're going to consume, and it's relatively healthy. So we'll see where it goes. But I thought it was really interesting. It's National Raisin Day. So let's connect with you again. So, yes, Joanne says the little red box. Yes, see, so some of you guessed the name, SunMaid, absolutely. And Inez says her daughter refers to them as dead flies. Well, as long as she knows the difference, Inez, of eating a dead fly and eating a raisin. But Sarah says, my childhood. Yeah, we all can relate to raisins. A great sweet snack. Also, Darlene says butter tarts with raisins. Oh, butter tarts. Oh, my goodness. Now I'm thinking of butter tarts with a hot cup of tea. Love it. Very best. Chocolate-covered raisins. Yes, also my favorite. Margaret adds that. Judy says, just made chocolate-covered raisins, raisin cookies today just for this day. So you're celebrating National Raisin Day. Okay. So I'll have to send you my address, you know, in a direct message. I'd love those. Mary adds to our AKQ, by the way, beets were and are awful. Used to eat them just to be polite. I love beets, and they're so good for you. Oh, I love beets. Giselle says loves raisins, all kinds, also blueberries, cranberries, grape varieties. Aisha says cinnamon raisin bread. Oh, yes, with some butter toasted in the morning. I could eat a loaf. Donna says always got them as a kid when trick-or-treating. And Judy says my nephew takes a box of raisins to work every night for his midnight snack. See, there you go, a little pick-me-up. Oh, Penny Lynn says, now I'm assuming you are or you were a nurse, kids coming to emerge after putting raisins up their noses. Yes, so true. Janice says, hated raisins as a child, but still do. Diane says, raisins and butter tarts, my mom made the best. Also, Lois says, raisins, but not in cooked things. Yeah, I'm okay with it. Cindy says, wild grapes, hanging on fence lines and picking them, harvested 20 pounds, and the best jelly ever. Yes. So true. A lot of work to make jelly, though. Christina says, raisins suck, and I'm a grown-up. Sort of. I'm surprised you don't like raisins. I think they're a sweet treat. And, oh, my goodness, Linda says, raisins in homemade rice pudding. Oh, we should stop. My goodness, now I want butter tarts and rice pudding and cookies. Oh. Man, I can't wait until the day that we can get out on the road and we can start sampling food and maybe some small towns, some old-fashioned cooking. Mine of mine says, hi, Anwar, it's cold. It is cold. In fact, we're going to get to the weather in just a moment here. Marilyn says, my 106-year-old mom eats the raisins out of the rice pudding but leaves the pudding. You got to get her some SunMaid boxes, and then everybody's happy. And Val said, had raisins and pudding when I was on the Atlantic crossing, was seasick after that long trip with everyone on the ship. It took me 40 years before I could eat them again. Isn't that something, the association? I'm going to go off on a tangent because you're really right about the connection. Most of you will probably know that I dealt with the journey with cancer over a decade ago. And of course, it was completely new in terms of treatment and all that sort of thing. So you're learning as you go. But one of the things they said is that be careful what you eat during your chemo days. And I found out why. So when we initially went for my first treatment, they give you a whole list of things you should expect. Excuse me, how long it takes, and maybe you bring some snacks and that sort of thing. So we brought some of these, I forget what they're called. They're a brown cranberry crinkle cut cracker, very healthy cracker. And I had that as one of my snacks. And to this day, it's over a decade now, I cannot even look at the package because chemo makes you sick in very, very many cases. And the association with that will throw you off. I cannot eat them to this day. I can't look at the box. We normally don't buy it, but even if I see it in a store, it just gives me, I can think about it even now, and it gives me sort of a chill. So it's amazing the power of the mind when it's associated to different things. So I hear what you're saying there. Absolutely, Val, without question. Also, Anne says bread pudding with raisins, yummy. Kimberly loves butter tarts. Margaret says, I understand the dead fly. We call raisin cookies dead fly cookies. Well, I don't know if that's going to work with company. We're having dead fly cookies, but maybe if you serve it with cow tongue, it's the norm for you guys. Joanne said, would love to try to make butter tarts. I do bottle beets and love them too. Christina now adds, raisins are okay in cinnamon buns. Yes, but in moderation and should otherwise be banned. Boy, you're getting harsh. What's up with that? And mine of mine says also, I'm hungry now too. And Judy says, after the show, I'm going to eat my warm cookies as you are making me hungry with all these food talks. Okay, well, I don't want to find out about you eating any more cookies. Aisha adds, for those of us fasting for Ramadan, your topic is not helping. Yes, I apologize on that, and I look forward to hearing an update when you break the fast and you can have some treats and your full meal. It's not an easy thing, so good for you. So let's switch gears then. You ready for a game? Should we do a brand new game? I think you're going to like this. It is called, as I mentioned, The Price is What? So very easy to play, but we need some music here. So Jason and Master Control, I'm going to make sure we got the music because we're going to really, ramp it up. And this is how we play. So I have 3 items here, and these are actual real items that have been posted on an online classified ad. I'm not going to say the website because frankly they need to pay for it. No freebies here. But I'll remind you it rhymes with Luigi. Okay? So let's get the music going. We're going to play edition of The Price is What? And these are actual items. You try to guess how much they are asking. Closest without going over wins. Now, are you ready for this? Item number 1, which is, we'll show you a picture of this. It's the Vintage Glam Rock Boots. Wow. You can impress all your friends, from Ziggy Stardust to David Bowie to even Lady Gaga, in these black and silver adorned footwear as we play The Price is What? So the question is, how much do you think the person selling this is asking for? The price is what? So Diana says $275. Madeline says $250. Sandra Neal says $1,200. Anne says $1,000. Is this the price you would pay? Wow, holy smokes. Sheila says $750 as well as Lois. Cindy says $575. And CE Snowflake says $500. Judy says $175. Kimberly says $25. And also Stephanie says $354. John Shepard says $199.99. Let's round it out if you please. I got to tell you though, you guys have all overbid. Wow. So you're probably going to want to buy this. Actual price on the game that we call the price is what? 30 bucks. 30 bucks for the Vintage Glam Rock Boots. And if you really are interested, direct message me and we can hook you up if you want to impress your significant other. Yeah, and I guess it could be Mother's Day and Father's Day, because guys wear them too, David Bowie. So that's item number one. Okay, so item number two. Item number two. Okay, let's bring this up as we continue with the price is what? And this is the knob and hinge pack. Now, I have to tell you, there's actually over 80 pieces in this. It includes 17 doorknobs, 51 hinges, as well as mini brass knobs for kitchen cabinets. I mean, you really have to love brass here. So the price is what? How much? How much? Oh, Laura mentions, by the way, only if Elton John wore these, should anyone pay a cent for that? Margaret said 4,000 bucks. Wow, you guys are big spenders. So this is item number two now. And we're asking about the hinge and knob pack. And again, this is actually over 80 pieces. How much would you pay for this? Okay, here we go. 50 bucks, David says. Sheila says 10. Miranda 60. And Nancy says 25. Lois says $250 for the knob and hinge set. Aisha says $15. And Sheila says, I just threw out a bunch of them. That's the thing, right? You know, a lot of people updating, getting rid of the brass. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Madeline says 125. Sandra says 25. Kimberly 40. Sheila, 360 bucks. Is that what you'd spend on this? All right. So what is the price? Oh, Monomine's really playing the game. Are they solid brass? I have to think they're brass plated. I have to be honest. So judge accordingly on what you think here. Joanne says 40, 45, Svetka says 45, Margaret says 45, Jack says 50. All right, the price is what? The actual online price for the knob and hinge pack is $175. Yeah, good luck. I think you have a better chance of selling the boots than your brass knob and hinge set. I don't get it. This is the problem though, right? You know, realistically, you probably get that at a garage sale, maybe for 10 bucks for the whole box, realistically. But anyway, that's what he's asking. I'm assuming it's a he. All right, let's get to our final one. Final round, item number 3 on the price is what? And it is the tri-pack ceramic produce set. Ooh, made in the 1970s, says the seller, and approximately 8-inch inside. And I even zoomed in. Look at the detail at the corn. Wow. So these are, I guess you can assume, yeah, you get a lot of people, oh my God, and what? I know, isn't that something? These are original, I guess, because they're made in the 1970s. How much? What is the price? As we get into item number 3, Sheila adds, one man's trash is another man's treasure, and I guess that's very true. Helen is saying 10 bucks. Carol says no thanks. Good for people for a horror movie. So Cindy says 5. Item number 3, Barbara says 5. Sandra says 35. And yeah, put the number, guys, so I know. John says 80 bucks for the ceramic tri-pack. 85 says Anne. Oh, and with hearts. So Anne likes these ceramic vegetables. And the final item, we got an $8 there. Too tacky, says Kimberly. 18 for 3. Are we bartering? That's not my products. $40, Lucy says. Also 70 for Sheila. Jack says 40. Christina says 25. Well, hey, you said 25. The actual online price is $25, Christina. Congratulations, you won that round. Isn't that something? Again, though, right? You know, this is something that, I'm sorry, but at a garage sale, maybe a toonie. I don't want to judge. Maybe you have that in your kitchen. I'm just not spending that much money on ceramic veggies. Thank you very much. But, wow, that was a lot of fun, guys. Really cool. I'm glad everybody was getting in on that. Big spenders, a lot of you. You know what I got to do? I got to find myself some vintage boots and post it on Kijiji. I could be making a lot of money. All right, we're going to wrap things up. I always appreciate your company, guys. Thank you so much. You know, and I also appreciate your efforts in making this show grow. And the way we do that, you know, show the thumbs up and the big hearts. It's key. Every show, it helps grow the momentum of the show, and it also boosts the program. That's just the way it's all figured out. So if you've given me a thumbs up before, we have to do it in every show if you like what you're seeing, and also a heart. And I ask you to please follow the page, share the link. We'll re-rack this and also put it on YouTube. Some of your friends may not watch on Facebook, but I really appreciate that, because this is what we want to do. We want to continue to grow this and get some sponsors and get out on the road and travel. So I appreciate all the thumbs up and all the hearts. We really do want to keep this going. Now, as we wrap up, I want to show you a picture from the Oshawa Botanical Garden. This is not current, of course, but I mentioned this because I want to start saluting all these wonderful places where you're watching from, and one of our areas is certainly Oshawa. So this is the Oshawa Botanical Garden, where they host the Peony Festival. Beautiful, beautiful park. Hope to go there and stream live, but we're going to show images each and every week to salute all of you who watch. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate your company every day. And on that note, we say adieu to you, and you. We wish you a safe and happy weekend, and we will see you next week. Make sure you follow the page, my friends. See you later. Have a good one, guys.